It's that time. It's the Underground. World News Live. Here on this March 19th, 2025, what is going on? Good evening. Much love. Hope you guys are doing good. As usual, I got to thank everyone that shares the stream. Thank you, Tacos, Hoodie Ross, Daily Survival, D. White, Kev Bar, Kenny G. Everybody out there, much love. Appreciate it to the fullest. Those that share it on other platforms, get it in front of eyes that I can't reach. I appreciate it to the fullest. And thank you, Bone Score. Good to see you tonight. Much love. Member of the Underground for 2 months. Lisa Marie in the house. Much love to all the pure bloods checking in out there. Thank you, Boomer, for the feedback. Everybody, if you're dropping 5x5s for the feedback. Walk with God with us here tonight. Boomer, Troublesome, Flip, Diane, Lana, Christopher. Hope everyone's well. Ava, Deanne, all the mods. John Boy, much love. Thank you for everything. Minx. Alright, gonna get this thing rolling. We've got quite a few things to dive into. I put out a video today in regards to Trump releasing these JFK files, which we'll dive into that and quite a few other things here. So, I'm going to start off here right at the gate with some economics. Talking about the dollar. A lot of people just look at the dollar as a utility to be able to pay for things, basically, out there in their daily lives. Trump wants a weak dollar. So, as you see, this title says that, will the dollar continue to fall if he has it his way? Because in terms of negotiating and doing all these things globally, it helps him in doing deals with other currencies where it's not too overpowering, so to speak. But a weaker dollar helps him, as he puts it, in doing his deals in the trade. But too weak of a dollar could signal a collapse, especially if something was to happen. So that's my biggest thing when I see headlines like this. It should be backed by gold. I don't think we'll ever see that again. I mean, I'm still waiting on an update on the Fort Knox stuff. There hasn't been really a word about it. They said that they were going to go in there with cameras and we were going to get an audit. We were going to see what's really going on. It doesn't seem like that's happened. They're just pushing on with all this other stuff. And, yeah, this is the way it goes here. I'm going to show you what they got on par. This is what they really want. They want to get all this stuff pushed onto the blockchain. You got to be wise about it. Got to be smart about it. Got to know what they're up to here. The blockchain is already here. It's already being pushed out there. It's all over the place en masse. The thing is you don't want to be forced onto a blockchain and everything else cut off. Meaning your fiat currencies, your cash, gold and silver, things like that. If they try to make moves like that after they're on the digital blockchain, it's really totalitarian. It's really a move that they're going to have to wait to pull after they get everybody on the blockchain. Here in America, it's already begun. Trump ordered them to stop making the pennies. They've already said next is the nickels, and then all of it's going to dry up. So during lockdowns, I noticed that they were taking the change back en masse. You'd be going to places and paying with cash, and you wouldn't even be getting change back because they said they didn't have it and all this other crap. And it started a movement of them taking back in change en masse. Before all this, they already switched all the currency up, took the copper out when no one was looking, along with the silver, and switched it out with cheaper metals. But at this point, they're just going to quit making them. They will cease to exist at some point here. If right now they stop making it, I say by 2025, I think it's going to be sooner than that. It could be this year. Any day, this event's going to happen to switch everything over. I've talked about it several times. I really think that it's one of the big events coming our way. The only thing with this event is the smoother that they make it go, the smoother that it goes. What I mean by that is if they make it to where it's not like super panic, like they have a resolution to the problem, then people will download an app for the digital wallet, for the blockchain digital stablecoin, which is what it's going to be. It'll be sent to the wallet. Every single place will be told to accept all the stuff ordered. They will be ordered to do so. Mr. Executive Order Trump, he rips them off left and right. And yes, the CBDC, the verbiage of it was a curveball. People caught wind by listening to people like us, early that the CBDC was bad. But that's all they really were sticking around and listening to. They weren't listening to why, what makes it bad, or any of the other stuff. Is how I see it. Because they turned around and they accepted blockchain from Trump right after he did this. Literally right after he did it. And nobody said a word. Nobody said a word. It's scary. It's really scary. And I keep saying, are these people really that ignorant? Are they afraid to say something? Both? I don't know, but all this stuff is stacking up. And you see, a stable coin, it really catches people by surprise because it seems it's so innocent and like it's not going up or down. There's no movement in it. People aren't investing in it, but people are using it. For instance, if you're out there trading in the crypto realm, what you'll do is you'll trade, and if you're in Bitcoin and you want to sell it, what are you going to jump into? Normally, you would think cash. Well, the digital cash is called USDT. And there's different versions. USDC, PayPal's got their own. There's a ton rolling out. And I told you on the previous stream, this is part of their ploy and their tactic. They want to roll out stable coins largely because they're all connected to the US dollar, pegged to it, and backed by it. So before China or anyone else rolls out a ton of these things and people start using them and accepting it, they want to get the jump on the whole thing, which the United States has got to jump on it anyway because it's their baby. NSA created Bitcoin, built on a hash that they created. And they control this whole thing. But I'm going to say this. Oh, Lolita, thank you for the coffee. Much love. God bless you right back. That is the best way to support the show. Appreciate it to the fullest. I predict that technology is going to kill Bitcoin. Yeah, a quantum computer is going to come along that's easily going to solve the riddle, and it's going to render Bitcoin and all that stuff like obsolete. That's how I see it. It's going to be able to do everything so much faster, and it's already been spoken about in large circles about when this day comes and happens. Will they stall it out? Maybe. Do they got a specific date that they can release all this? Well, sure. They could change the course of history, but if they were going to do that, they're going to try to... you see, all this cryptography runs on all these hashes and basically problems that need to be solved, and this is all done in a mining process where all these things are solved to be able to complete the transactions. The thing where we're at now is these stable coins can be sent quick. The government came out and said that they were going to try to utilize platforms like XRP and others to be able to move these payments across. So they've already got everything in place. I told you on March 10th they were going to move forward. Sure enough, what did they do? They came out and they started making moves. And stablecoin, obviously, here is their end game goal. This right here says a U.S. stablecoin bill likely in the next 2 months. So I warned you, and if you missed it, it's called this Genius Act. And the whole idea is to push an onslaught of backing of crypto. And I feel like we're in a short-lived bear market. I don't think it's going to last too long. I mean, it could. They could drop a bunch of FUD and hammer this thing out. Trust me, the day that they come in and they say, oh, Bitcoin's dead, quantum computers just smashed it. Like, before you even hear the news, other dudes that heard it are going to dump, and all you're going to see is that everything's dumped out massively. And people are going to be left holding the bag. The bubble's going to pop, so to speak. It is a digital nothing. That's what can happen. They don't want to mention that, but it is a fact. And everything going digital is not good. It's not good for your security. And I would argue it to a judge. It's a fact. Okay? Look, if your password gets hacked, you can change it, right? You can switch up those things. You can use different things like authenticators and things like that also, and pass keys to get into things. But to force you into using biometrics as like a passkey or a password is a huge trap. Because the moment someone gets that, and yes, it can be hackable. It's hackable. Anyone can get anything. People have had their biometric data stolen many times, many ways. Someone, thank you for the coffee and the support. There's been pictures of people like holding cups up in images and their fingerprints on the cup, and people have zoomed in and stolen their fingerprints. I am not kidding you. It's getting crazy. And they've pulled this stuff off, getting people's biometrics. So if your biometrics get hacked and get stolen, you can't replace them. You can't reset them. You can't reset your fingerprints. You can't reset your iris and all the features about you. You can't do it. Once it's done, it's done. It's game over. Do you understand? It's game over forever. Forever. You can never change that. It will prove in the end that the whole system is obsolete, but they just wanted it in place to track everybody anyway. Stable coins. This could be it. This could be it. It's whatever avenue they're going to be able to get the masses to go down. All right? And it looks like this is the one opening up. He already went against the CBDC. They're not going to call it that here. He already backed crypto, and this would be the lead way with crypto, stablecoins, because it is virtually a digital dollar. And for people out there that always say, well, everything's already digital. No, this is different. This is blockchain digital. If you were just thinking, oh, this is digital and you just ignored it, you made a huge mistake. This is a whole different technology. And it can entrap mankind by tracking your every move and taxing you for every single thing that you do. Similar to China. And if you get out of line, you get out of control, break a rule, they can deduct money out of your account. You see? And just shut it down. That's scary. It's totalitarian. At this point, you can work, you can earn all your money, you can hold, people trust banks right now, but that's about to end. But you can put money in safes. You see what I'm saying? You can bury it. You can keep a hold of your wealth. All of this is going to be locked up in a digital realm that you have no control over. None. And some could say, oh, you can store your Bitcoin on a hard wallet and this and that. Okay, true. Like, you can make moves like that. You can try to store things in hard wallets that are off exchange and things like that. But how's that going to help you when it goes to zero? When quantum computer comes along and cracks it? I mean, everything's going to have its day and its time. This is going to be Bitcoin's heyday. Honestly, it probably won't stop till it hits $1 million. Rebecca, thank you for the coffee. I'm serious. Bitcoin probably, they won't stop fanatically until it's worth like $1 million. And if they're already pushing a reserve here in this country, just like a gold reserve, like Fort Knox, come on. Trust them, with the gold. No, how can you trust them with anything? Especially digital. They could hack it themselves, steal it themselves, and say somebody else did it. And how is anyone going to prove any different? You can't even prove anything about the gold again. It's ridiculous. That's a whole nother monster. I got a funny feeling something crazy is going to happen with Fort Knox. If this guy comes out and he says, look, it's empty. It must have been empty for a long time. Like nobody went in there, not even a janitor. Like nobody to sweep the floor, like nothing. Like, which makes no sense. It's huge fraud. And to think that Donald Trump doesn't know if the gold's in there or not is just crazy. This guy knows. He's not going to go a day or so. He knows. So this is all a show. Where are they taking the show? Well, they're taking the whole show towards stablecoins. Okay? It's going to be the answer. And the thing here is, it can be one of any kind. That's the crazy thing. I told you this before. It's like an octopus with many tentacles. All these different stablecoins. It's all the same thing. Long as it's pegged to the dollar in their eyes, it's all the same thing. All roads lead to the same beast head that's tracking and tracing everything you do. Do you understand that? That's what it is. Evil as it gets. I told you the whole time. But nobody wanted to face the fire, I guess. Well, it's almost like, again, they tried. The people are like, oh, we snuffed this one out. CBDC. No, CBDC's bad. Donald Trump signed a executive order with his magic pen and threw it to him and was like, here, no, I'm not going to have one. No CBDC. I mean, that's all it took, and it's scary. The black magic is wild, man, at this level. Whole different level. Just the whole crowd. So, they need an event to usher all the sheep onto the stablecoin now. Do you see? We're right there. So it's likely to happen not long after this bill's put in place. So seeing bills like this tells me, all right, in the next 2 months, that means you get a little bit of time at least before the event. Because I don't think the event would happen until after this is all in place. It looks like that's what they're doing. Yeah. What's this next one say? Eliminating archaic payment systems with stablecoins. Meaning you try to send somebody money somehow, some way, wire them money or do anything like that. It takes days to clear, right? That's going to go away. And that's going to be a carrot on the stick to a lot of people out there that wait for days for things to clear, even through your bank. Money's got to clear all the time. Like, that whole process will change, which is good in a way. It's going to be quicker, but all tracked and traced. That's my biggest thing. I mean, as long as you're not doing nothing criminal, you can argue that, like, I mean, if you've got a bank card, it's all tracked and traced right now. Come on. It is. So, and if you got a phone in your pocket, everywhere you go is tracked and traced and logged. Everywhere you go. They know more about you than you do, than you even realize. It's a crazy thing. All right, so Europe, moving right along, not missing a beat. They're prepping the ground for a digital euro. So, this is the CBDC. And they're not afraid to call it that because they're ramming it down people's throats there in Europe. They're going to launch it October of 2025, wholesale and retail. Israel is following the EU's footsteps, preparing for a CBDC with a new 110-page design document for their digital shekel. And here it is. Here it is. And you don't think their Gentile Messiah isn't going to force you onto it too? Well, he's going to force nothing. Again, the magic of it all, what he did, they're just not going to call it a CBDC. It's going to be stable coins, obviously. And ain't no one saying a word about it. I'm over here trying to educate that it's the same thing, but they keep us so censored over here. It's ridiculous. Well, all I could do is put the information out there. That's why I thank you guys for sharing the info all the time. Um, the knowledge is power, but all these lemmings around us are going to go right onto the beast system that we warned them about this whole time. I don't know if it'll take an event in Europe. It looks like they're just going to ram it down people's throats. But they do all kinds of totalitarian stuff, it seems, under the UN, NWO, the World Economic Forum. The climate agenda is definitely one thing. That whole thing is kind of shifted with Trump. That's a positive. That's definitely for sure a positive when you're taking us out of all this climate crap. Well, look at here. They're saying that cooking food, something that cavemen have done, since for eons, mankind has done this, right? Cooking food to survive. They say that it generates as much ozone as driving does. So they want to push all this carbon crap. It's literally crap. Because everybody just cooking food and eating it, normal, everyday stuff, is generating just as much. I mean, that's how this planet operates. It's how it flows. It's all a scam. All that is anyway. We've seen Al Gore and all these guys pushing it for the longest time. Get it out of here. Doesn't mean they're not hitting us with crazy weather weapons, because I'm telling you now, the wind and everything that they're pushing across the country, it's a weapon. Here's another positive. I mentioned this before because Trump said that we're going to allow people to use coal. Well, he's authorizing the use of coal for all energy production. Okay? So, he's saying that if there's any plants that are out there that can be used, they can fire back up. This is like going to revive certain areas. There's a chance that this is going to revive coal country. And I'm going to tell you again right now, any property out there that has seams of coal on it and natural gas, it's going to boom in this cycle. Do you understand? It's going to boom under Trump. Like, he's probably going to be in here 4 to 8 years, and yeah, we got crazy events and economic doom probably around the corner. But if you're looking for ways to actually get ahead and make money, you can't go wrong in this aspect, I feel. Because having all the land gives you natural resources, and you can survive with it. You can burn coal, you can burn wood, make energy, heat your homes. Natural gas the same way. All three will keep your house powered and heated year-round without paying a bill. And you could sell it. You could sell any of it. You could harvest the timber, the coal, the natural gas. And if you've got a huge pocket of natural gas you're sitting on, it's a huge gift. Just keeps on giving and giving and giving. The trees you've always got to replant, replenish, and wait years. Coal, there's only so much there that you're going to dig out of a seam. The natural gas, yeah, there's only so much in every pocket, but some of those pockets are monsters, and they can go forever and ever. And you just don't know until you find one tap into. You really don't never know. They have no way of really estimating. They find a pocket, it's good. You use it up. It could go in a year or two. It could last 50. So this is big. Just keep that in mind. If you're someone that's out there this year and you're looking to make an investment and you're looking at anything with land, I would keep this in mind. If you go out there and if you've got the money, say, and you were to buy a bunch of raw land, really with nothing on it, and get it kind of cheap, the fine land that has this is going to pay. I'm telling you, all through Appalachia, I've already seen the price of raw land going up and then going through the roof. It's nuts. It's crazy where it's gone already. Just in another year, it's going to go up. I'm going to predict another 10-15%. That's being modest. We'll see. When things like this break loose, and someone's like, man, I just got, 100 acres down there for $100,000, but it's got enough coal and timber and everything on it to make like 5 times that off of it. Hey, there you go. And I've got guys that are around here that kind of do just that have been doing that, not with the coal because they shut it down, but with the timber. Well, they'll log. They'll go through and get properties and they'll log it and make the money back plus or double or triple in doing that. And then they can still turn around and sell the property and make the money off that. So it's all profit, big time, when they're doing this. They make so much money, they can turn around and go buy the next property that's up for sale. And just keep it going and going and going. That's what they do year round. So this, I'm telling you, I know of a coal place that I drive by that has been shut down. That has all the huge, big equipment, just like you see right here in this. All these big, huge things. When you ride by them, sometimes they look like freaking theme parks. Sometimes they look like roller coasters and all this stuff set up. Only thing that you don't see really around the ones around here is the big stacks of coal because they ended it. But let me tell you, they are there. There's guys that got stories around here to tell you, like there's all kinds of caves and pockets that they know of. There's so much coal around here in these mountains. And in the winter, a lot of these people have a huge mountain of it sitting out next to their mountain of wood. Burning this with the wood helps it last longer throughout the winter. If you could sell this to China like Biden was, you'd be rich if you had this on your property. I'm telling you, it's huge. People just don't know. It turned places into poor states, to poor areas. All that's changing. Don't miss the bus on this one if you got a chance. If you're someone that can invest in something in this area. All right, here's an update on the measles. We have a measles outbreak in Texas, and this is right on the heels of RFK coming out talking about it. Remember I warned about it? I didn't trust anything that they were doing or telegraphing. Well, here it is. He also came out and just also warned about them not vaccinating the birds for bird flu. That's crazy. That's a bad sign. Scary sign. Because that's probably how to break loose. Them sticking them birds with needles. You see. So, 300 cases in Texas as this thing grows legs. You know, starts to take off. So I'm just throwing it out there. I really feel the bird flu thing is the biggest threat. You should be prepared for it. Best chance, as Bill Gates said, here in the next 4 years. And just have a plan. Have a plan, man. All I could say. I don't know what it's going to be, but something else is going to come. It's pretty clear and plain. I want to play this clip here of Eric Prince. If you don't know who he is, he's the guy that made all these mercenary groups around the globe. Paid mercenary groups, Blackwater and all those things from back in the day. He made all of his money from that, but he's got all this intelligence in terms of military and technology. And he was speaking here on AI and where this whole thing's going. So with the Trump administration, so that you know, they said it clearly. They want to be at the forefront of AI and crypto, all this technology. And they want to beat China in this field, is basically where it's at.
What really helped America, what really helped the Allies win World War II was American industry. If you haven't read the book Freedom's Forge, I highly encourage you to do it. A lot of you are from the Midwest. I'm from the Midwest, from an automotive manufacturing family background. It makes me really proud to realize all those factories really cranked out and delivered that kind of capability. It made it possible for Marshal Zhukov of the Soviet Union to go all the way from Moscow to Berlin with 600,000 vehicles, trucks. To remember, the German army that back then was only about half mechanized. We made it possible with tens of thousands of aircraft and hundreds of thousands of vehicles for the Soviets to win. So our industrial base now is nowhere near what it needs to be right now to be competitive. And I think there's some great efforts underway. There's a reindustrialized conference I participated in about 6 months ago. They're having another one. If you're in the manufacturing space, I think it's a great time to add plant capacity, because there's going to be, I don't know, I feel a much different vibe and a lot of demand coming back from China. I've stayed in the manufacturing business ourselves with plants in the U.S. and in Mexico, and there's just a lot of volume coming back from Asia.
And see, that's what they're afraid of here. They want to compete with China. They don't want China to get the lead. China already took the lead in terms of drones and things like that, in chips. And they don't want it to be the case here in these fields. So you're seeing a race in AI big time for the most part. That's the big thing here at the forefront. The crypto and all the stuff, that's like behind it. AI is the big thing. Obviously, it's the brain of it all. And China's got their own monster that they're creating. These are like Frankensteins, man. And I honestly believe that artificial intelligence is just that. But it's more than just that. It's more than what you're just thinking. It's more than a computer and an algorithm just grabbing from information that it was programmed with. No. That's not what the top tier AI is. And I'm going to tell you, Elon Musk confirmed it. They are trying to summons the demon. That is what he said. He said this. The man in the Baphomet costume said this. He admitted it. He admitted it. They are trying to summon the demon. I feel like the jinn, the spiritual wickedness on the other side, Lucifer, the head honcho over there, whatever, they are creating a technological Frankenstein for this entity to speak through. Do you see? To attach its consciousness to. And that's where all this information is coming from. It's demonic. It's coming from the other side, obviously. They're tapping into it. He admitted as much. And this is what his own grok is feeding off of, I'm telling you. All of it. And this is the scary, scary part of it. So as I explain it to you like that, in my mind, I always see it as like the Wizard of Oz. If you think of the Wizard of Oz in the end, the almighty powerful, it was fake. Not the little man behind the curtain, but literally what they showed you. What the great powerful Oz looked like. He was like this holographic image of like this entity of a consciousness. That's how I see this. And it's speaking through this technology. And it's scary because they're trying to build a super hubs, like so a whole bunch of smaller hubs across the United States. They have to have their own power plants, Trump said. But somewhere there's going to be a mega brain, and they're going to protect it. They're going to protect it with everything they got. They may keep it secret. We know about HARPs. We know about underground atom smasher facilities and all this other stuff, but this is something that they would never want no one to know. It's like the dark crystal. If you find it, you must smash it and destroy it because it's giving off evil frequencies. You understand? And understand this. If there are other life forms here that are shape-shifting, reptilian or not, if there's anything shape-shifting, they're doing it through changing a frequency or making you think you're perceiving a different frequency. Okay? It's all this is about, is vibration and frequency. Everything has its own. Once you understand that and you can master that, it gets scary. I believe higher intelligence has definitely mastered it, and it lives amongst us. This is exactly what they live. That's what they were showing you. It's what he was showing you. This is also what your Bible says with Jesus. They are the tares. They are amongst us. That's why he is literally going to come down and separate the wheat from the tare. So, amen. We're in crazy times. Let's jump into some JFK madness, shall we? So, much love to everybody out there. Hope you're doing good. I don't know if you've seen my video that I put out today in regards to this, but I'll say what I pretty much said in that real quick. And it's that we've got a new release, but it's disappointment in my eyes because it's just not what you're looking for. Although I got some interesting stuff. We got some juicy things. Don't get me wrong. It'd be crazy to think that they're not going to throw some bones out there for people to chew on. Something juicy. There has to be some things, and there are, but it's not what everyone was hoping for. And we're going to talk about that here. So, what they've done is they've released some 80,000 pages that were prepped that they went through full scale. We turn that down. Meat Puppet in the house. Bought a coffee. Much love. Thank you for supporting the show, man. Appreciate it to the fullest. And thank you for the comment. So, Spiro in the house. Much love, my brother. What we got here is 80,000 pages, flat, released, and this is in the form of 1,123 PDF files. And thank you for the coffee, someone. This is on the National Archives website. You can also go there in the flesh, in person, and request these at their main office. Most people are just going to go and download this stuff, and I trust nothing no more. I feel like if you go there to download these files, you're also downloading the newest, latest backdoor Trojan, where they could spy on you. I mean, why wouldn't they? Why would they miss the opportunity? It's how they operate anyway. But with this, Trump said we don't want anything redacted. So it's almost like black magic again. People kept complaining about redacting and redacting and redacting. So here they give you a huge stack of 80,000 pages with like no redaction. So I'm going to tell you from what I've seen already today and what I've read through, what this more or less seems like is this whole thing was pieced together with 80,000 pages of stories that they could release safely without any redaction. Is what it feels like. Although we've got some pretty interesting things we're going to dive into here. But let me point out here. Let me go down here. We've got, 7 of 10 JFK files that have been held by the archives for many years, which researchers have been trying to get their hands on. They're now in the public record. So 7 of 10, okay? Long secret records that talk about all types of different stories. JFK, Castro, the CIA, Oswald, Mexico City, a lot of trying to deflect it toward Russia or the Soviet Union. The release, here's some of the biggest part right here, okay? The release does not include 2/3 of the promised files. I repeat, the release does not include 2/3 of the promised files, nor any of the 500 plus IRS records, nor any of the 2,400 recently discovered FBI files. You'd be crazy to think that anything recent they're going to release. When they sat on some of these for decades and decades. So, everyone's like dead, connected to this for the most part. The there's no, like, look, I don't think they're ever going to come out and tell you what you think, what we know for sure, that alphabet gangs were a part of this 1,000%. I mean, geez, we were just talking about here recently how they're just now trying to come out and point to the fact at the driver. He turns around and then Kennedy gets his head blown back. And it's like, yeah, well, we were talking about that years ago, and you act like it's new. It's not new. Although most people still don't know about it. But when you go and you look at the footage, you can see dude turns around. As soon as he turns around and looks at Kennedy, turns around and looks right at him. Boom, his head goes. And goes backwards from where the shot would have came from him. So I'd seen that clip a long time ago before it started to circulate, and I could never find it again. They had scrubbed it, so I could never prove it. So when it resurfaced, it was kind of like, okay, it was vindicating. But all kinds of information's coming out that, like, shows that the CIA had their hands all over this. That's how I feel. The CIA, the FBI, definitely were in control of everything. Even though they deflect to Cuba, they deflect to Russia, so to speak, they deflect to the leaders of Vietnam, saying that they wanted to kill Kennedy. But it's always the CIA saying this. And I don't buy none of it. Now, here's a smoking gun. Let me go over to my page here and pull the page up. Right here in the video that I dropped, I have an image. And it says right here, the CIA has no objection to declassification and or release of CI information that's inside of this document, except for what's in the brackets. And they signed off. So when you read this whole thing in the bottom, it gets to a point to where it says CIA directors permitted Angleton to run several intelligence projects, many of them with the Israeli intelligence service. I'm going to tell you that's actually the Israeli secret intelligence service is what it is, and it's an anagram for that's where ISIS comes from. The original one. So you can see right here what they really want to keep secret. And this is one of the little things that slipped through. It shows you that the Mossad was connected into all this, and they don't even want to mention it. And the CIA will release everything that's on here except for what's in the bracket. That was to be, blacked out or redacted at all cost. Why? Well, I think we all know why. When they're going out of the way to try to cover someone, there's your guilty party. I've long thought that the alphabet gangs, you can point the finger at whichever ones. It seems like they're all on Jesuit command anyway, but it's the higher power group. They ordered these hits. It's the same hand, as I call it, that kills everybody. Same hand that killed JFK, killed RFK, Martin Luther Jr., Tupac, Biggie, John Lennon, all of them. Anybody that's rose up against the beast. That's who it is. That's the nasty war machine. They are as cutthroat and as nasty as it gets. These high-level alphabet gangs. It doesn't get any more dangerous and more sinister than them. I mean, look what they're doing openly. In terms of the war fronts, genociding people out there. I mean, come on. All right, so there's also another piece here. Let me get on here and get to this. This is another big one that comes from it. Much love, TNF. All right, and this is the story that has to do with John Garrett Underhill Jr., okay? The day after the assassination went down, this guy, Gary Underhill, left Washington in a hurry, Late in the evening, he showed up at the home of a friend in New Jersey. He was agitated. He said a small clique within the CIA was responsible for the assassination. He confided this in his friend. He was afraid for his life, and he said that he would have to leave the country. Less than 6 months after this, Underhill was found shot to death in his apartment in Washington. The coroner immediately ruled it a suicide. He was an intelligence agent during World War II, and he knew all the stuff connected. He knew the truth. He knew the truth. So he said this right here, that the CIA basically was responsible for it, and was Epsteined, taken out. It made it to look like a suicide. Like they've done so many of the guys, So many guys have been killed this way. Chris Cornell. So many. They've killed so many people, man. It's insane. Because people wake up to this. I'm going to tell you, Michael Jackson, Joan Rivers, all these people that were in the club that knew it. They knew the evils of it. And the thing that got them killed was they spoke on it, which is forbidden. They tried to wake everyone up and see what it was. And they got clipped. Every one of them. That's the truth. That's the end of story. That's all of them are figured out. It all leads back to the same place. Same hand. That's still in operation today. At this point, the crowd's so docile, they could come out and tell you they did it. Who did it or whatever, and they're going to be like, but they're dead, and there's nothing we can do. And just keep on pushing. That's pretty much what they're doing with this whole Doge thing. The people aren't even dead. Like, this past administration is responsible for all the crimes of spending all that money, and, no one's going to jail. They're not even mentioning it. I hate to keep saying it, but it keeps reverting back to black magic. They're using it large scale. All right, so this was another big story I wanted to point out there. Juicy, interesting one, but it doesn't point to, who was behind everything, like everyone was hoping for. There was one more story that was attached to this that I thought was really interesting. And it has to do with JFK Jr. That he wrote a letter to none other than Joe Biden, calling him a traitor and everything else. And you wonder why he's dead. As well, His plane goes down with his wife. They got them all. Biden goes on to be the VP and the worst president we've ever seen. Prince too. It goes on and on and on, man. Of all the people that got clipped. So many. That were working on exposing the child trafficking and pedo stuff especially. They got clipped in the adrenochrome stuff that no one ever wants to talk about. All the media ever wants to talk about, even with P. Diddy, whose lawyer just quit on him because of P. Diddy not wanting to accept any plea deals. The adrenochrome and the murders and the sacrifice is something that they won't even touch on. They'll just have you think it was all sexual orgies and stuff like that. And they'll leave it there. It's juicy enough, they feel, or whatever. And criminal enough to throw someone like Diddy away forever for rapes and all this stuff. But the murders is a whole different thing. And I'm not talking the murders of like Tupac and Biggie. That's something with P. Diddy that he's definitely tied into there. But I'm talking about the murders of children, of trafficked people, of kidnapped people that were brought to these places. What do you think is happening to all these people that are being trafficked and sent? Where do you think they're ending up? Places like Epstein Island and things like that. P. Diddy circles, where they're brought in as like wild animals or something for their pleasure. And then when they're done with them, many could be offed, sacrificed, killed. They'll harvest the adrenochrome from them. And that's getting deep some people are like, what in the... And like the mainstream just won't touch on it. But it's the truth. And until they do, they're only scratching the surface. Okay? So, I gave you, so far, what I've seen to be some of the biggest things out there. And when it comes to JFK, at the end of the day, from all accounts, from what I see, this was a sacrifice done by the hand, by Masonic groups. This was done in a process of what they call the killing of the king. It is a ritual. It is a ritual sacrifice done in front of the world. And they did it in Dallas for a reason, because they did it at the top. They did it at the top of the straightaway there, and killed him at the top, sniped him at the top, all done in ritual style. And also, from what I've seen from this, the bullets that went into his head, especially from the driver, it contained fragments of, it was a special handheld weapon that only the CIA, like our government, had. It had like poisonous oils, like fish oils or something in it. And all of this could have proved that he was shot from a closer range with a different weapon and all this other stuff. This is why JFK's brain was switched out, which is also common knowledge and known at this point as well in this, to cover this whole thing up. But it was a ritual in the end. Once they marked him for death, it was a ritual death. And a lot of them are. A lot of them are. The Bible group on Facebook, thank you for the coffee. Much love. God bless. So you know, they're never going to come out at this point and tell you flat out. They may, but the moon has to be void of course, for sure, when they do it. If you don't know what all that means, man, like, you're not understanding how these people operate. Okay? You don't have to operate in certain ways, but it's wise to understand how the enemy is. As above, so below, they say it for a reason. They operate and do certain things in certain windows that open up in the heavens. Certain retrogrades of planets and things like that. It means the world to them. Okay? May not to you or anyone else around you, but I'm telling you, all their moves they make are based on this. You know, sacrificial days would be. All these things. You know? Alright, here's another one thing that they say is a crucial detail that was not released to the public and will remain secret. Imagine. Remember all the stuff I said earlier, the 2/3 of those one files that were supposed to be released. But they say here that James Johnson, author of Murder, Inc., the CIA under John F. Kennedy, explained to the USA Today he revealed that a crucial document exists but has not been turned over to the National Archives. So you're never going to see it till it hits there first. This paper concerns the first one-on-one conversation between Lyndon Johnson and CIA Director John McCone, which occurred after Johnson assumed power. And as soon as he was sworn in, this conversation's key because it's long been thought that McCone he's been suspected of hiding crucial details from the Warren Commission and being a part of this whole thing. So, that he was the CIA director. Come on. So the director of all this, you don't think that he didn't know something when it looks like his assassins apparently were the ones that did this, along with some Mossad help. I mean, it's all there if you want to piece it together. I mean, it's all right there. Again, like I told you, the CIA, their hands, they're in all these stories all over the place, but they don't want you to say it was them, I guess. I don't know. So as far as I can also tell, Oswald was a trained asset, and he was just a patsy. They have a policy of leaving a long trail of dead men. I'm going to assure you of this. So from Oswald, they had Jack Ruby. Jack Ruby come in and killed him, right? Well, then someone come in and killed Jack Ruby. You see, I'm telling you, someone come in and killed that guy. And then the list will go on until they're satisfied. A long list of dead bodies. CIA no longer a C3. Yeah, got that right. And thank you, TNF, for the super chat, my brother. Much love. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. This is what I've thought always. This is who I thought done it always. And nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. They've thrown a stack of redacted safe paperwork out there, as far as I can tell, with a couple of little tidbits to keep people talking about. No smoking gun. I don't know if you're ever going to get that, but we'll see. We'll see what happens here. I will label this in the end, though. In terms of the JFK files, I will say that this is a flop. And it's the second time Trump's done it. Second time he's done it. Like you would have thought after Buffalo and everybody the first time and was calling him out on it, that this time would have came with all the goods. But look what they threw you. They just threw you a stack of a lot of papers that was unredacted, but there was really no meat on any of it. You know, they kept all that. They're still sitting on it. So, all right, I'm gonna keep it pushing. That's my final verdict on the JFK stuff. It was a flop. And I'll update if they drop any more. All right, let's dive into other news, like these people that are going crazy across the country doing crazy stuff, like this man going to people's homes and spitting on them and doing crazy stuff. It's getting crazy. That dude just opened up someone's door and spit, and the ring cam caught it. And it's pretty grotesque, but especially if he has diseases or anything else, like you don't know. So this guy attacks both Trump supporters and their houses and their signs in their yards. And this is like growing. Here's a Florida man busted by the Secret Service and local authorities because he posted a shocking threat against Trump on social media. And it's like, do you think you're going to get away with this stuff? Seriously? Look at this dude holding his freaking ring finger, Masonic. Like, I hate it when they do that crap, all of them.
Thank you, Chris. Tonight, a St. Lucie County man is in jail for posting videos on social media threatening to kill President Trump, giving specific details about how he would take the president's life.
Treasure Coast Bureau reporter Ari Hyde has that video, as well as reaction from the sheriff and neighbors.
The sheriff here tells me that actually been watching this suspect for a little bit more than a week now, concerned about his mental health. But he says when that suspect posted a video on social media threatening to kill President Donald Trump, he felt they had no other choice but to arrest him.
What's up, everyone? How are you doing today?
This is St. Lucie County resident Kendall Todd, and this is the video he posted on his social media platforms attacking President Donald Trump.
Donald Trump is the Antichrist.
The video is laced with profanities and is frequently confusing.
Donald Trump has personally made business decisions which have hurt so many different reincarnated Jesuses.
But it's toward the end of the 80-second video where his message to the president goes from confusing to threatening.
Fight me naked to the death. I'm gonna cut you up with a chainsaw and put you in acid.
He just kept escalating his behavior. He got the attention, obviously, of the United States Secret Service, and that got our attention.
And that's why Monday afternoon, the St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office SWAT team and the Secret Service went to Todd's home on Metzger Street in Fort Pierce and arrested him.
Wow, man, that's crazy.
Neighbors say they weren't surprised to hear Todd posted threats online. They say he's been acting strangely for a while now.
That's not cool at all. That's not cool, not just with the president, that's with anybody.
Sheriff Del Toro says they had also noticed Todd's strange behavior and had been keeping their eye on him. And when he posted that threat, they moved in.
It's just very concerning for us, and the things that happened in the past, to our president, we want to make sure we're not leaving anything for chance.
Todd is officially charged with making a written threat to kill or do bodily harm. He's currently in the St. Lucie County Jail. His bond was set at $500,000. At the St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office, Ari Height, WPBF 25 News.
So, you can see right there, that's what'll happen if you want to go online and make stupid threats like that to chop up, kill someone like that openly. I mean, you're begging for them to come and get you at that point. When I was coming up, some of the coldest cats out there, they moved in silence. They didn't say nothing. They had to make a threat. But when something happened, something went down, in the end, someone would know, they got what was coming to them. But there wasn't no bragging, so to speak. There wasn't having to do no threats. Like if somebody really had something coming to them, they moved in silence, and there was no talking or none of this stuff. So a lot of this stuff, a lot of these people out here, it's a lot of talk on social media. That's what I've learned. Loser Elon. Funny. This next bit is something that I've had to go through, and it's never fun. It's never fun when you got to go through these hairy situations, scary situations. What I mean is like this situation here. In the past couple days, past couple shows, I've talked about incidents where SWATs have happened. A lot of it was surrounding InfoWars and Alex Jones, which I'm highly suspect about. Because AJ himself, he's known for creating theatrics, okay? Doesn't mean real stuff isn't going down around him. But man, I've busted the guy throughout the years staging events in stories just to have headlines and things like that. I've seen it with my own eyes. So it's just the truth of it, that they'll fabricate, they'll create, think up things that will be a headline. They will. They do it. And that's been one of my biggest issues with them over the years. So when I seen some of these stories, I want you to remember the first time that this broke, when one of the first dudes got swatted that worked at InfoWars. I was saying something about this. Then the guy got killed. One of the guys that worked for InfoWars got killed, which is crazy. I wish no harm on anyone out there like that. I don't want to see nothing bad like that happen, especially that. The guy lost his life. There ain't no coming back from that, obviously. Well, these swatting situations can turn into just that. That's what someone's hoping for out there. And it's gone beyond that now. It seems like some of these influencers that are definitely on the Trump side are being targeted. And they're like, someone's going down the list targeting influencers that are on X or YouTube or wherever that have supported Trump, from what I could tell. Juanita Broderick. Okay? Who is she? I don't know who she is. All I can tell you is that she's some account that popped up on Twitter during the whole Trump train thing and just shared a bunch of the Trump stuff all the time, just like all the other Trump shows. Just like a cat turd and all these other people that they go out there and just shill what the government wants you to see and regurgitate constantly. I don't know them outside of any of that. Okay? Well, they've been targeted for this because there seems to be some operation where the left, so to speak, is how they're putting this, is targeting the right or Trump supporters, Elon supporters, by burning down Teslas, by shooting places up, by having people swatted. There's something that is happening here. You can't ignore that, okay? Hey, I love cats. I don't like cat turds. Anyhow, I know a lot more about a lot of these characters than you even know. Okay? And if they were righteous, I would tell you. Let me just put it that way. Anytime I meet a righteous person or soul, I'll give them a shot at her. I would let you know. But if I'm not saying that, well, that means I found something suspect. Steve in the house. Much love, man. It's good to see you, man. So this happens to her, and there's a couple other people I'm not even going to name that apparently said that they got swatted. I sit back and I watch some of these things unfolding. I don't know. There's huge elements of this stuff I don't trust at all. Here's another one. Owen Schroyer. I've been in the streets, running the streets, different cities with a lot of these guys, from AJ to Owen Schroyer. Like I said before, Joe Biggs, all types of the cats, man, throughout all these years. And Owen was an okay guy. I took him as being kind of arrogant at first, but he was nowhere near as arrogant and as cocky as Tim Pool and things like that. He has his own style. I ain't gonna hate, nothing like that. He does his thing. He gets swatted, and again, I wouldn't wish this on no one. Like him, dislike him, whatever. This isn't good. So it happens to him. He has to come out, strip down, get embarrassed in front of all of his neighbors. But then, what they're doing behind this now is they're sending a pizza. They're delivering a pizza after the swatting with a note on it, with like threatening notes. And this time they did it to him. It says right here, 1 week after InfoWars reporter Jamie White was murdered outside of his apartment, followed by a pizza delivery under the name of Jamie White. Schroyer posted pictures of him getting hit. So this is getting out of hand. Can you imagine? The Silver Sailor in the house salutes, much love. What's swatted? Swatted is when you're live or you're at home and you're engaging on social media. Okay? And they call the cops on you. And they make up a lie. They say somebody's dead in the house or a shooting's happening. And all this other stuff. It's where the police show up, guns pulled, thinking something crazy's going on. And the whole thing is to have the cops show up just like they did here at Schroyer's, with the guns pulled, heart pounding, thinking that they're showing up to a murder scene or something, and it's all a lie. It's getting swatted. All right? I had to basically, at my house, that, look, you have to watch out for this if somebody does call, because I go live in all this. I mentioned it to him because, man, there's been a lot of this going on here lately. I will say the good thing is this. No one was shot, killed. No traumatic outcome came out of all this. If anything, this should bring an awareness to police departments that, if we get calls like this, to be cautious that it could be a setup, you know, it could be a SWAT. So anyhow, look, we're going to keep it going here. Radical leftists, so to speak, or whoever's organizing this out there, they launch a website doxing private Tesla owners across America. So they launch a website, they go in, they've hacked or somehow got all this information on the owners, and they're posting it openly on this website. This is leading thugs from the other side or whatever across the country, or these people that just don't care or are losing it. They're going to this website, they're seeing a location that's near them, and they're taking it out. So that's what's happening here. A website has been set up basically showing people target locations, and people are just randomly venting, going out and shooting these places up, burning them down, and all that. They're even writing down in these forums like where they see cars parked in parking lots, and people will go show up and attack it. It's getting crazy. All bucking back at Elon Musk. You can see where all these incidents have happened across the country. Keep it pushing. What's this next one say? Oh, this is crazy. A Tesla vandal gets caught. Then he gets confronted, and look right here. Look right here. You see this little circle? This is a freaking camera. This is one thing about a Tesla. These things got more cameras on it than a bank. Do you understand me? Like, it's crazy. These things are like trappy. If there's one around you, a Tesla anywhere, no, it's got cameras everywhere, all the way around it, and like it's gonna catch you. Okay? Even like all the newer like Mercedes and things like that, they do too. But these cameras, man, could be picking you up at a distance or doing anything. Just be hip to it. CCC, thank you. I appreciate that. I definitely would like to check that out. Thank you for the super chat. You see the camera right there. And these cameras are catching these idiots out there that are attacking them. Like, if there was any vehicle in the world that you would want to refrain from attacking because you're probably going to get caught because it's loaded with cameras, is a Tesla. But that's exactly what all these people are doing. And then, like, boldly lying about it. Just imagine if you were confronting this dude, seeing this dude. And I'm going to tell you right now, he's guilty. He's playing stupid. But
did you just key a Tesla the other day?
Do what?
You're on video. Yeah. This is the guy. You just keyed a Tesla. You got a video online. I just saw it. It's all over the fucking face. The media.
I keyed no Tesla.
Yes, you did. You keyed a Tesla in a parking lot somewhere around here. What do you got to say about that?
I didn't do that.
Oh, here we go.
Well, you're on video. I said, I plainly saw you doing it. You pulled up right next to it and then you keyed it.
Oh, shit.
You want to bet?
Whatever.
Okay. Well, I mean, they got your license plate. I'm surprised you haven't been contacted by the police yet.
Let him do it.
I mean, what do you have to say? I mean, I saw you do it. I'm just curious. I mean, just because of Elon, you're wearing a USA t-shirt, driving a Korean car. Why would you key an American car? The guy's probably a Democrat that owns it. I think it's a woman. I mean, I'm just curious why you did that. You just don't have anything to say about that? Neither one of you guys do?
Nope.
Okay. You're handicapped too. I mean, this is just kind of ridiculous. Well, good luck to you, sir. Hope you learned a lesson. Chase Bank.
So you see right there, a guy gets busted, and I gotta thank you, Cash Heart, big time. I mean, just leaves me speechless. Thank you for all the support and all the coffees that you've bought. It just it blows me away, leaves me speechless, man. Legendary, like Elon, like Eon. I almost said Elon, like our Eon out there. And a much loved Crown Jewels that I seen out there earlier, and everybody across the pond in the UK. I wanted to play it. I thought that was a funny clip there of this dude getting busted. Like, he's sitting there just boldly lying, like, I didn't do that. And, like, you know, you get to see the clip that he did do it. And wearing the same jacket and everything, obviously him. That's how the guy spotted him. That's how he stood out. It was a good call out. It was a good one. He caught him, rolled up on him, called him out, got it all, dipped out. Dude's busted. So this is what people are doing. Okay, now, Bondi is declaring that all these violent attacks on Teslas are acts of domestic terrorism. Here we go. Remember, I told you in the last stream, they're rolling the label out, domestic terrorists. All right? They're slapping it on people, left and right. All they need is an excuse to do it, and that's what's happening. They can use this on anyone down the road, including you, anyone. If you don't like what they're doing down the road and you revolt against it and you get in the street, what do you think they're going to call you from here on out? Huh? This. It's wise. Everybody pay attention. You know? You can't live with your head in the sand all the time. You've got to pay attention to what's going on here. There's something happening where there is a rise up, and it's not under just some traditional banner like BLM or the Palestinian movement or nothing like that. It's like everyday people they're triggering on this. The everyday people with blue hair that are upset or whatever, sitting in their homes, they hate Elon. They find out, like off this website, that there's a Tesla sitting somewhere, and guess what? They're plotting. And like, this is like, they're doing their duty. They feel in doing this, it's created something. And they are labeling these people domestic terrorists. So it sets the stage to give them a reason to use this excuse. All I'm saying is, like, it could be legitimate. They could be legitimately calling these people domestic terrorists. But once the label's put out there, it can be used on anyone down the road. That's what I fear. Okay, but this is crazy. They're shooting up Tesla places. And they're burning places down. Here's some clips. Look at this clip right here. This is of someone, not just one, but like multiple Teslas get hit and lit. Right here. Boom. Something blowing up inside of that. So, Elon basically trying to say that people got some kind of derangement syndrome. Tried to say the same thing about Musk, or Musk did about Trump at first, like there's a Trump derangement syndrome. But now he's trying to say that people got the same thing about him, an Elon derangement syndrome. Let me play this. I don't think that was going to play. I'm going to go in here and play this next one.
Why do I see people like I woke up this morning and saw that Teslas were put ablaze in one of your dealerships in Vegas? I've seen this happen all over the country. Bullets are being fired. Charging stations are put ablaze. Teslas are being put ablaze. You have experienced assassination, threats of assassination for you and your family. What have you done that warrants this? Because I see nothing that you have done except help our country.
Yeah, I mean, it's really come as quite a shock to me that there is this level of really hatred and violence from the left. I always thought the left, or Democrats were supposed to be the party of empathy, the party of caring, and yet they're burning down cars, they're firebombing dealerships, they're firing bullets into dealerships, they're just, smashing up Teslas. Tesla is a peaceful company. We've never done anything harmful. I've never done anything harmful. I've only done productive things. So I think we just have a deranged, there's some kind of mental illness thing going on here, because this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
and I think there are larger forces at work as well. I mean, I don't know who's funding it and who's coordinating it, because this is crazy. I've never seen anything like this.
You actually tweeted out, and I'll put it on the screen, the level of violence is insane. It is deeply wrong. Tesla just makes electric cars and has done nothing to deserve these evil attacks.
So, I mean, what do you think about that? Like, it's ramping up, and I'm not so sure it's just all the left. Because I've seen and reported that people have lost jobs from the right too, left or right, both sides, while they're going in here and cutting all these jobs. I just read a thing tonight that Trump said that he signed an executive order to dismantle the Department of Education. What do you think that's going to do? People listen and hear that, and they're like, hold on, like, what's going to happen to education in this country? What's going to be replaced with? Is there going to be no department? Is it going to be like what's going on here? Like, we're not getting any answers on the other side of this stuff. Just like they come out and they say all this money's been missing or missing that they sent and spent all over the place, but not saying that a single person is going to jail. It's black magic. All right, we had an incident this evening that I thought was this afternoon that I thought was kind of, the timing of it was suspicious. When people were like talking about some of the details of the Trump stuff, and it was like picking up a lot of attention for being a dud, and just some of the details, all the attention was pulled away from that for this lockdown at CIA headquarters, where a guy rolled up shooting shots. Well, they took the guy down, took him into custody, and that's really all that we know. This is in McLean, Virginia. This guy rolled up and fired shots into the air. That'd be pretty stupid there. They're going to get you, and they got him. If I get an update on that, I'll let you guys know. Apparently, I didn't even know that there was an Institute of Peace out there. Well, there was, and apparently the White House fired the president of it, and this guy barricades himself inside the place, causing all kinds of like confusion and chaos here.
Do you work for USIP?
People from Doge are in the building now. They're here. They had come before. We had communicated with them before, going all the way back to February the 24th. We had conversations with them in which we sought to explain our purpose, our status as a non-executive branch agency created by Congress. We've been aware of this now for some time, going all the way back to the early days with what happened at USAID, because it was very clear that there was a desire on the part of the administration to dismantle a lot of what we call foreign assistance. And we are part of that family, right? U.S. Institute was created back in 1984 by an act of Congress.
So my point here is to show you that people are like refusing to leave. He's just sitting here saying that he's been a part of this for like all this time. It's been around forever. And they're not just going to run everybody out of some of these places just because they come in and they say so, because Elon says so. Because people's jobs, like, it's like undeserving. Like, they didn't do nothing wrong is what a lot of them are saying. And of course, Doge is in there like we're saving money, cutting heads. Now, I don't like the view here, but apparently one of these ladies calls out Chuck Schumer. It just shows how much divide is in their side.
The fight going on in the Democratic Party right now is not between hard left, right, and moderate. It's between those who want to fight and those who want to cave. And it gives me no pleasure to say this to you because we are friends, but I think you caved. I think you and 9 other Democrats caved. I don't think you showed the fight that this party needs right now because you're playing with by a rule book where the other party has thrown that rule book away.
True.
And so in my view, what you did really was, in supporting that GOP partisan bill that Democrats had no input in, you cleared the way for Donald Trump and Elon Musk to gut Social Security, to gut Medicare, to gut Medicaid. Why did you lead Democratic senators to play by that book that the Republicans are not playing by?
Okay, first, I'd say, Sonny, no one wants to fight more than me, and no one fights more than me. You got to fight smart. It is not true. That bill had far less it was bad. I hated it. But it does far less damage to Social Security. Medicare, Medicaid are far more susceptible to being eliminated, which is what that horrible Musk. Can you imagine this guy Musk, a billionaire, saying $1,100 for a senior citizen is not necessary,
But aren't
or
there
a Ponzi
cuts
scheme?
in that bill?
There are many fewer cuts in that bill than that would be in a shutdown.
But they
it was
still
a bad choice.
exist.
So we got to. Yes, they exist. But if you have two, have two choices. One bad, the other devastating. One chops off one of your fingers, the other chops off your arm.
I mean, that's, oh my gosh. I mean, that's bad. How can it, one chops off your finger, one chops off your arm? It's like they're both bad then. It's both bad. Can't you just admit that then? Just like the election, it's always you're selecting the lesser of two evils. Like, it's both bad. Like, where's the good choice? I don't know. I just think some of this stuff's crazy. Yeah, it's always good to see him get called out. You start to get pissed off. You never know what you're going to say. It looks like J.D. Vance very well may be the next guy. We kind of thought this anyway. When we've seen all the videos of the same people that support Trump supporting J.D. Vance, that J.D. Vance is going to be the next man. And it looks like they're really trying to do that. That's the whole thing with Zelensky in there, and J.D. Vance stepped in and did his little thing. Every freaking bit of that was all staged. It's all theatrics to promote certain things and certain aspects. And they're really putting him out there as being this... being a character to fill Trump's shoes. You're going to see him in, like, strong power positions is what they're going to constantly keep showing him in. Winning debate, making strong comments, tearing people down. That's all I see of them doing, propping him up just like that.
Will President Trump support him for president? That's what's on my mind. I know Trump was asked this by Brett Baer, I think, a couple months ago. And when he was asked, Trump was like, well, there's a lot of great people. They're all working here. And, a lot of, and kind of.
Who are the great people?
I don't know, but my suspicion.
I can't think of any.
Well, I think he's hired a lot of really good people for the
He
administration.
certainly has. But as his successor, someone who understands what Trump believes, the Trump program, Trumpism.
Yeah.
I think Trump is a transformative leader. Trump is, in a lot of ways, the most important president in the last, well, certainly since Roosevelt.
In our lifetime.
Well, certainly in our lifetime.
Yes.
And, I think people want to leave a legacy, all of us, and great men especially do. And the only person in the entire Republican Party, from my position, who's capable of carrying on the Trump legacy and expanding it, making it what it should fully be, is J.D. Vance. I think his loyalty is without question, and his service to Trump has been profound. So,
Okay, so you see what they're already propagating out there and putting out in front of everybody? That it's going to be J.D. Vance. The seeds are already being planted. So you've got the next 4 years of this. So everybody knows that this is going to be the next man. And they're hoping that the whole Trump crowd attaches to that. Just remember that. So if it's not Trump running for some crazy third term, That's who to be. Yeah, Vance, Jesuit backed. Yeah, CIA Tucker. You guys got that right. The world's a stage, man. Haven't you learned that by now? I try to tell you it all the time. That's why they call them theaters of war and all these guys. The political realm, they are the masters of acting. Do you see this now? Do you understand? This is the echelon, the top. You actually, like, Hollywood is like college, okay? You graduate from Hollywood and you go into it's what I call real life acting, politics. And it's where they want their finest players. And Trump's one of them. You see. That game's never going to change. All controlled by the same hand again. By the same individuals again. Jesuit command. Trump's got a base out there. And that I don't know. I question a lot of things. You guys know it all the time. I bring up these crazy talking points, valid talking points like the CBDC things, Mr. Warp Speed, all these things that the Gentile Messiah stuff, they don't never want to talk about it. And it's like, there needs to be some kind of debate about it. Here, I got a clip and we'll play here.
It's not an appropriate response.
I don't know.
Okay.
I think we should defer to our chief.
Oh, wait, yes.
Thank you.
Our chief legal analyst, Greg Gutfeld.
Oh, yes. Well, I'm glad you asked me that question. Look, John Roberts says it's not appropriate. It's not an appropriate response to when you disagree with the judge. It is really a surprise to me that Trump doesn't follow the appropriate protocol when there are rapists and murderers invading our country. Maybe a guy in a robe in D.C. can follow all the protocols, but Trump is the effing president of the United States who protects 300 million plus people. He is a leader who does not have the luxury of opening up his little books to read, oh my God, maybe he didn't do it the right way. Roberts, shut the F up. This is something that a president has to do. He has to do this. It blows my mind how wrong I was in 2016 or 2015 when Trump came down the escalator. And I was like, I can't believe he said these things. Everything he said was right. They're sending bad people. What did he say? They're sending killers and rapists. Do you remember this?
Some of them were good people.
Some of them were good people. He said this, and now he's sending them back. He's sending them back. Political disagreement among parties is normal.
All right, I can only take so much of that, but the Trump administration, they're considering travel bans now on dozens of countries. So this is going to affect people big time, and there's like levels to it. There's different tiers. You've got the initial group, the initial tier. If you know someone that lives in these countries, it's going to be like hard for them to get in here, all right? And you're talking Afghanistan, Iran, Syria, Cuba, and North Korea. Cuba, 90 miles off the coast, okay? The second tier has like Haiti, Laos, South Sudan, places like that. And the third tier has places like Belarus, Pakistan, and all this other stuff. He's given them like 60 days. 41 countries divided into 3 groups. Basically, a mass travel ban is going to go into effect here. If the countries don't bow down to his demands. It's crazy. So, Russia is key to a lot of things going on around the planet. They're going to be going forward. A peace plan or some kind of deal between the United States and Russia, I think, is huge. It's positive in a lot of ways. It's better than going into World War III and dropping nukes. Let's just put it that way. One or the other, okay? So, this whole Ukraine fiasco has been long overdue to come to an end. But just as they were talking this, what does Zelensky go back and do? He tries to launch another incursion. So he's sitting over here saying, oh, I'm down for peace, and tries to launch another incursion. And this is why Russia wasn't wanting to give him any kind of time out, any kind of time to do nothing, because they don't believe him. They believe that they're going to come right back and try to attack. They're just going to give him time to regroup, which would be stupid. So Zelensky's just an idiot, in my opinion. They're out here really trying to talk about peace on the table, and here you come running out of left field trying to launch some incursion when the last thing that happened with your men on the battlefield is they got surrounded in Kursk and you get your butt kicked. And all your men are getting slaughtered. They're literally, I've showed you these clips, they're driving down the road in broad daylight in these army vehicles or vans. And if they see a young dude riding on a bicycle, they'll knock him off the bike and kidnap him. That's what they're doing. They're kidnapping people in broad daylight, military-aged men, and then forcing them to go throw on fatigues and go through some training, put a gun in their hand, and drop them off at the front lines. It's insane. It's disgusting sick. So this one says that Putin and Trump trust each other. Yeah. Well, I think big announcements are going to be made. What's this say? White House says peace will begin as Putin agrees to halt attacks on Ukraine's energy facilities for 30 days. So he's at least going to stop hitting the energy facilities inside of Ukraine. Putin is. What's this? The Trump envoy says that Ukraine and a whole ceasefire with it will happen within weeks. So here we go. You know, they're saying within weeks here, something huge is going to happen. Once this whole thing is put to bed and Ukraine is done, so to speak. My only fear is Zelensky's going to try to take some suitcase nuke he's got, like, and try something stupid, like he just did with that last thing I just showed you. He's done several stupid things throughout this whole thing. He struck Zaporizhia or whatever, the nuclear place. He did. He also struck with drones the concrete housing around Chernobyl. He's an idiot. So that guy's got to go first and foremost, in my opinion. He's just an idiot. Can't stand him. And he's satanic. What's this next one say? It says that the U.S. could recognize Crimea as part of Russia. I see that happening. I don't never see Russia accepting anything different. It was, if you go back to ancient times, like for the whole Russian thing, Crimea was initially a part of it, and then it was like gifted or given away to Ukraine, because Ukraine, the leadership, they were friends at a point until, because a lot of the people that are in Ukraine have Russian roots. You fast forward to today, it's not that way. Of course, how we got here was that during the Obama administration, a group called Maidan was brought in, mercenaries, and they overthrew the elected government. And that elected government ran into Russia for protection. Then they went and they took all the gold out of Ukraine. They stole it. The West did, under the Obama administration. And then they installed, through phony elections, leadership. Okay? And then it shuffled all the way until what you got now was Zelensky. Zelensky on Biden's watch. See, there was no war in Ukraine last time Trump was in there. So they fired the whole thing up. Originally under Obama, it went away. Under Trump, just kind of faded away at that time. And then Biden comes back into the picture, fires it back up, full scale. Trump's now in there playing peacemaker, the Gentile Messiah. And Putin is pressuring Trump to recognize all the annexed eastern territories, everything that they've taken, because they're not going to give it up. And I don't blame them. I wouldn't either. if I'm in a war, and especially in this situation, because I feel like Zelensky and them brought this upon themselves in many ways. Like I just told you, it was the West, but it was under the Obama administration and all them. Oh, this world's such a stage, man. In the end, all I can say is Russia and the United States being partners in deals can only be better. More of a positive thing than going to World War III. That only leaves the big war is going to be between us and China. Obviously, it's going to be that. And at this point, even if Russia's not on either side, they sit neutral on the sidelines. That's better than them being involved against us, with China, because I'd see them taking a neutral stance. But let's just go back to the last World War, right? We stepped in, the Germans were on the doorstep of showing up to Russia in the cold weather. And we get bombed Hiroshima, all this other stuff, but we stepped up and helped Russia, surprisingly. And together we win the World War. So I'm telling you, it's always the kryptonite. You can't beat these two when they're together. I think the world's changing, though. The world's changing to where these wars are going to change. This is how I feel it's going. Maybe throughout the next handful of years, you're going to see this wind down. All these major war fronts, especially if Israel gains the ground that it wants in the regions that it wants. Once they accomplish all these goals, then they want a new temple to be built here on Trump's watch so the Messiah can sit in it. And a whole new thing is going to be rolled out, man. This is their plan. And by all accounts, it's happening while Trump is president. So huge things are going to happen. Third temple finally being built. It's going to be done under Trump's watch. He done said it. I think they're painting him to be the Prince of Peace, that, like they said, if he can create all these peace situations, yeah. What about Golgotha? Golgotha is the place of the skull. That's what that means. Okay? I could go on and on and on about secrets. You probably never taught. It has to do with all that. But Zelensky, he finally backs this proposal to stop strikes on energy facilities. So let's see if he sticks to it. Turning the page. The White House, green lights, hits on Gaza by Israel. So yeah, while everyone's caught looking over here, they're like, oh yeah, just go ahead, green light. Go ahead, start pounding Gaza, where a majority of the strikes all the time kill innocent people. They break the ceasefire, start pounding people. It's like they run north, pound people out, run south, pound people out. That's what's going on. Thank you, John. God bless. Israel, tanks. They start a whole ground offensive now in Gaza. So now they're going in to clear it out, to make the Riviera. Do you understand? Like, they're making that move, the push right now. They don't care. So Trump, he threatens the Houthis on the ground with complete annihilation. Complete annihilation. Dropping more bombs on these guys and wiping them out than they can imagine. Continuous bombing. So these guys got it coming. They're attacking our ships that are going through there. Ships can't go through the shipping lane. They're about to pound them out, I'm telling you. U.S. nuclear submarine begins scouting around Australia. So now, if you missed it, the Chinese started drills all around Australia and like encircled it. So now the United States is creeping up with subs like, oh yeah, like we got their back, and like it's getting tense in that area. Everything's getting tense with China, and China cannot be happy seeing all these positive things with Russia in the US. By no means. And Xi Jinping apparently is very angered by this whole Panama port deal that is being prioritized by Trump. He's not happy about it. It's like they're losing control. They should have never had any control there. It was never set up for that to be. We did it. We should have never left it to a weak government to control. We should have always left someone there to oversee it, to make sure that it never falls into the hands of like the enemy, like this, so to speak. Because if there's an enemy out there, it's the Chinese, let me tell you. Your FBI director that just left, Christopher Wray, said that they are embedded in every aspect of our life. Telecommunications, water, the power grid, you freaking name it. But yet they did nothing to try to stop them. It's set up. It's to blame China. The same China that's got a 1 million-man army here, staying on land right next to our military bases. This is the setup of a freaking lifetime. Oh, man. It's bad. This is bad, bad. No one else but the Chinese is in this position. The dragon. Okay? No one else also back at home has plenty more troops to keep on throwing at it. Here's an interesting one. China, although they're developing their own stuff, almost all the countries around the world had two major choices in weaponry. You buy off Russia or you buy off the United States. That's how it's been. The two biggest muscles. Every country's got their own little cells going on. The UK, China, all this stuff like that. But the two big muscles, and that's how they make a lot of their money, the war machine, is selling the stuff. Just like the United States doesn't care that they're bombing everyone over there because they can sell Israel more weapons and more weapons over to do it. So it's our bombs that are killing these people. It's disgusting. But when it comes to our allies are using majority of our type of weapons, right? That our DARPA and our guys are developing and making and pushing. The West, okay? Europe is getting a lot of those weapons from us. You can see that we're kind of splitting away from Europe. Something's happening. Trump's even threatening to leave the UN, all this stuff, and say screw you to Europe and the Union and break away out of NATO. Okay, if they do this, the talk has been like, if they then what? Are they going to be enemies? And if so, does the United States have a secret kill switch where they can deactivate the weapons that the Europeans got? And I'm going to tell you right now, it's yes. Any designer, masters out there that have made high-level weaponry, military weaponry, there's backdoors in them. I mean, I just told you the Chinese are masters of it. They're in the back door of everything. They've even got back doors into the cranes in all of our ports across this country. I mean, it's insane. It's insane. They could shut this place down in a moment's notice, to be honest with you. But it would be on at that point. It would be war. You have to be ready for war, major war. Like, it would be on. They did something like that. But they're in here. They're the ones capable of doing it. Outside of our own government, it's the CCP. Here's an interesting one. If there's going to be one country that could stand a chance to cause China a lot of problems on the home front, it's India. They got more manpower at this point, and they butt heads over territorial disputes on the border all the time. They're not the best friends. India raids a Soros-backed office that's linked to the Open Society, the same society that I've warned you about forever. Same one we caught cutting checks to protesters in Ferguson years ago, all the way to present day. The guy on the streets is 2 weeks ago, or past couple weeks, that admitted he was there paid through the Soros foundations. It continues to this day, and when George goes down, his son there is going to take over the whole thing. He already is. He's taking over the reins. Torch is being passed to him. He's already at all the places. Everyone knows it. And Georgie here doesn't have much time on the clock. He's an old dude. And he's never looked like he's been in the best shape or health. But I guess these lizards can live pretty long, huh? Anyhow, them raiding the offices I thought was, okay, let's see what kind of dirt they kick up here. I want to play this clip right here. This is of a weapon that they used on the crowd in Serbia. I thought I had it lined up and played the other night. I'm not sure if I did or not. I didn't think I did. But I'm going to play this. You're going to see the whole crowd disperse. It's because they use a sonic weapon on the crowd to get them to disperse. They split them like the Red Sea. It's crazy. Watch this. Right here. Did you see that? Did you see that? That is a weapon. That is a sonic weapon in frequency that was just used on the crowd. Trust me, I've seen them use all types of stuff. They've hit us with stingers, everything that you could think of out there in the field. But that right there, boy, it split the whole crowd like the Red Sea. It just did. Right down the middle. And the people couldn't believe what just happened. Play it one more time here. They're like freaked out. You could see it coming down the road. Like, boom. That is wild, wild, wild. And they seen the equipment. They seen it all out there on display up there at the end of the street, end of the road, of what did this. Here's another shot. Apparently. So that right there is how you clear a street quick. Much love, Crown Jewels, my brother. It's just nuts, man. They've got weapons like that right now that can clear a whole street. Like, really, if they wanted everyone to disperse, right there, you just seen it. And they just kicked it on and then kicked it off. If they would have kept that thing on, the people wouldn't have been able to take it. If they would have kept it on, like moved it all around the street, like focusing the thing on them, people be running everywhere. They just kicked it on, fired the beam down the middle of the street, and you seen what it did. It's crazy. All right, so I'm going to finish up here talking about ICE and some stuff with our border. ICE arrests 214 illegal immigrants in Virginia. So they are making moves. And Kristi Noem says that
everybody, I'm here in Arizona, and right at this spot, you can see where the border wall ends. As of today, we're starting 7 new miles of construction. We're going to continue to make America safe again.
I think if they can prance her around, smiling, and all this stuff, I don't know, man. There's huge holes. 7 miles ain't gonna cut it. There's huge holes. I showed you on the other one, the last stream. Ben Bergam, or whatever his name is, was down there at the border. He was at one of those holes where there was guys with guns up on the ridge right above him, and the Border Patrol was telling him, and the military was like, look, there's dudes up there with guns, like snipers and everything else. Like, these places are not secure yet. And, like, they're getting into position to start bombing the piss out of them all over the place. It's crazy. And I'm going to play this last clip. This is ICE agents smashing through windows to get suspects out. This is played on the news.
And there's some video that's causing a little bit of controversy on the internet right now, showing ICE agents making a dramatic arrest in Spokane, Washington.
No, you can! You can! It's illegal! Okay. Amigo. No. It's illegal. Hey, it's legal. Get out of my... Hey, no. Get out of my car. Get out of my car. Girl. Get out, no. Girl. I have video. Look, it's raining. Hey. No. Hey, mira. Oh, my God. Open the door. It's raining.
Now, the woman that you hear in one of those videos, that is Kayla Somariva, and she says that this all happened 4 days ago when she, her husband, and her brother-in-law were headed out to court. She says that...
So, I'm not playing the whole clip. I just want you to see that this is what's happening out there. ICE agents are making moves, these teams, all over the place. I've been getting emails about it. People seeing them showing up at their works, showing up across the street at places. Like, people are seeing this all over. It's one thing that I'm getting an uptick on and people reporting on, to me, is this stuff. For sure. So if you guys are seeing anything out there, let me know. dabu7@yahoo.com. That's the email. I try to go through them the best I can to get stuff. Try to be as detailed as you can. Don't just send a link. I will not click on it. Try to tell me what's going on the best you can with whatever. But, yeah. It looks like it brings this one to a close tonight. I want to thank everyone for joining us here. I'm going live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, covering stories just like everything we cover here tonight and a whole lot more. I'm also popping off videos daily here on YouTube. Make sure to check YouTube daily and over on X, posting stuff there, breaking news as well. And I want to thank everyone for joining for another one here. I appreciate it to the fullest. Everyone out there that shares the stream, everyone that is a member of the Underground, everyone that hits the super chat, I appreciate it again. TNF. Everyone that's bought a coffee, Lolita, all the someones, Rebecca, Meat Puppet, Bible Group, John, Cash Heart, man. Can't thank you enough for all the support, man. It's been huge. Thank you all. Thank you for all the prayers, all the love. Take us out of here on some music for this one. Much love, Kenny G. And, yeah. If the Lord doesn't return in the coming days, I'll see you here next time for some Underground World News Live. That's for sure. Much love and God bless. Thank you, Troy. Thank you, Deanne. Massive love. Thank you for everything you do. Being a stellar mod, holding it down. Thank you to all the mods. Much love, Hoodie Ross, Joe, Susan Q. Thank you, Minx. Everybody that's always here, always showing love. Steve. Eon, the legendary Eon. Every stream. Much love, salutes, man. Absolutely legendary. The Dude. Wake Up America, thank you, much respect. Spiro out there tonight, much love. All my cats. Jason Voorhees. Much love. Interesting. I'll look into it and I'll report back on the next train. Steve, much love, my brother. Everybody out there, stay safe. Samson, thank you. That's very interesting. Thank you, Samson. I'll look into that. Again, much love. God bless, guys. Welcome to the Underground, LD. Thank you, Handy. It's all appreciated to the fullest. Thank you, Mayhem. Much love. Pure bloods to the end, baby. Much love, Tom, Paula, Bella, Rick, the dude, Lady in Red. All y'all, much love. I love all y'all.